So, good morning, students. We are studying renewable energy technology. Name of the subject is renewable energy technology and secure for C. In the last lecture, we discussed about ocean thermal energy. That was unit number 4. In unit number 4, there were two important chapters: hydropower and ocean power. So we have completed those chapters also. That means unit number 4 of ME604C is over. And today I'm going to start unit number 5. That it has three important chapters in it. One is geothermal energy, another is hydrogen energy, and third one is fuel cell. That means use of fuel cell and hydrogen energy for power generation. Okay. So do you know what is the meaning of geothermal energy? आप में से कोई बता सकता है कि जियोथर्मल एनर्जी का मतलब क्या होना चाहिए? Anyone? देखो, geo means earth here. The meaning of geo is earth here. ठीक है ना? So the heat energy available in the earth is known as geothermal, and that is utilized either for doing some work. It can be used for thermal heating application also, and can be used for generation of the electricity. Okay. So here the contents of today's presentation are introduction, advantage, disadvantage, applications, and types. Okay. So as I told you that geothermal means the heat energy available in the earth, that is known as geothermal. It has some advantages also, and there are some disadvantages also associated with it. Then application of geothermal can be used for thermal heating, or it can be used for electricity generation also. There are four important types of geothermal energy. One is hydrothermal, second one is geopressurized energy, third one is HDR, hot dry rock, and fourth one is magma. So we will discuss all these four forms of geothermal energy in detail in subsequent slides. And in the end, I will show you one video lecture also, which is available on the YouTube. Okay. So geothermal energy is the heat that originates from the core of the earth. Their temperature is of the order of 4000 degrees centigrade. Actually, this is the temperature in the core of the earth. That means when we move from Earth's surface to its core or its center, the temperature continuously increases. It can be of the order of 4000 degrees centigrade. And we see that some volcanic eruptions are also there in the earth, and those volcano eruptions brings with them magma. So magma is one form of the geothermal energy, and it has very high temperature. But the remaining source of the geothermal energy, or remaining forms of the geothermal energy, like hydrothermal, which exist at some distance from Earth crust, say about 100 meter to 3 kilometer, those sources like hydrothermal sources are having some less temperature. Okay. The heat occurs from a combination of two forces in the core. This is written in context with the energy which is available in the core. So there are two sources. One is the source when Earth was formed by the action of the celestial bodies. So original heat produced from the formation of the Earth by gravitational collapse. And second one is the heat produced by the radioactive decay of various isotopes which are available in the Earth core. So these two are the regions by which the temperature is of this much order at the core of the Earth. Okay. Although the amount of thermal energy within the Earth is very large, its use of thermal energy is limited to certain sites only. ये क्यों लिखा गया है ऐसा? Because जो various forms हैं geothermal energy के, वो अर्थ पे जब आते हैं तो सारी जगह एक जैसी मैग्नीट्यूड में अवेलेबल नहीं होते हैं. ठीक है ना? So that's why it is not feasible to access to extract heat from a very deep location, and it is not available at all sites. Okay. That's why it is written here that we cannot construct a geothermal site at each and every place. There are some restricted places where we can construct the sites for extraction of energy from geothermal sources. Volcanoes, geysers, hot spring, and boiling mud pots are the reservoirs of heat that lie beneath the earth and that is utilized for uh, generation of the energy or transformation of energy from geothermal to electricity. ठीक है ना. इन सब नाम तो इस हम जानते हैं, वॉल्केनो, गीजर्स, हॉट स्प्रिंग्स. ठीक है, इसमें क्या होता है, अर्थ के अंदर की जो अवेलेबल हीट होती है वो बाहर आती है एंड वी कैन टैप दैट हीट फॉर जनरेशन ऑफ द इलेक्ट्रिसिटी, नंबर वन, और वी कैन use that heat for thermal applications directly. In some locations, heat is available near the surface and is relatively more constructed. Its extraction and use may be considered feasible. These sites are known as geothermal fields. Okay. As per US geological study, the entire heat content of the Earth crust up to a depth of 10 kilometers above 15 degrees centigrade is known as geothermal sources. ठीक है ना. यहाँ पे लिखा गया है कि अर्थ जो हीट का सोर्स है जिसका टेम्परेचर 15 डिग्री सेंटीग्रेड के ऊपर होता है और नॉर्मली जो अर्थ क्रस्ट से, अर्थ सरफेस से 10 किलोमीटर नीचे तक लिया जा सकता है. सो दैट इज कंसिडर्ड एज जियोथर्मल रिसोर्स. ओके. The potential may be between 15 degrees centigrade to 4,000 degrees centigrade. That's why the available energy at different locations may be different, may vary depending upon the temperature. So on the sites where temperature is, say, just 15 degrees centigrade or 20 degrees, 30 degrees centigrade, that is not enough for the generation of the electricity. So those sources are utilized for direct thermal applications. But whenever temperature is more than 90 degrees centigrade, then it is used for generation of the electricity. Okay. So we see that there are sources, different sources on the earth as we move from crust to the core. So there will be different magnitude of the energy generated. Whenever temperature is more, we are able to get more energy. Okay. It is considered an inexhaustible and renewable source. Okay. Why? Because it is available in vast quantity in the core of the earth. But when it comes out at the earth's surface, then it is limited. So if we are able to extract those sources, then we are able to generate large amount of energy. That's why it is written that it is considered an inexhaustible and renewable source. However, it is a low-grade thermal energy form and its economic recovery is not feasible everywhere on the surface of the earth. That's why it is site-specific. That means we cannot construct the geothermal energy sources each and everywhere. Okay, it is site-specific. Now we will discuss some advantages and disadvantages of the geothermal energy. So important advantages of geothermal energy are it is cheap source of energy. It is also reliable because we are getting heat of that much amount that it is continuously taken from the earth and we are able to generate large amount of energy from electricity from that. And it is cheap also. It is very economic. It is available 24 hours per day and it does not depend on the weather conditions. It has inherent storage features, so no extra storage facility is required. Geothermal plants require little land area. This is another big advantage. If you consider thermal power plant, then large amount of area is needed for storage of the coal or mounting the boiler for generation of the steam, but that is not needed in this case because we directly get steam from the earth surface, earth source. That's why little land area is needed in this case. It is feasibility of modular approach represents a lot of opportunity for development of relatively quick, cost-effective geothermal projects. So these are some of the advantages of geothermal energy. If we talk about disadvantages, then the most significant disadvantage of the geothermal energy is that it is site-specific. ठीक है ना. Site-specific geothermal power station cannot be built at any locations. Generally, energy is available at low-grade heat. It is written because we have to drill up to 5 to 10 kilometers in order to get a strong source of geothermal energy. But if we are not able to dig that much, then we will get low heat, low grade heat. That's why it is written here. This continuous extraction of treated groundwater may lead to subsidence, that is setting or slumping of land. So this is one disadvantage. Geothermal fluids bring with it dissolved gases and solute, which lead to air and lead pollution. That is another big disadvantage. Drilling obviously lead to noise pollution, though it is considered, but it is a disadvantage also. The available thermal energy cannot be distributed easily over long distances. Whatever energy which we are going to produce, that is not much enough to transmit it for long distance. That's why it is written here. Normally, the energy produced by geothermal resources are exhausted or used locally. Corrosive and abrasive geothermal fluids reduces the life of the plant, because whenever we drill, power, water, steam which comes out or magma which comes out from the geothermal resources, those resources are having some toxic substance and are going to reduce the life of the plant. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages. So far we have discussed the introduction of the geothermal energy, and we have seen the advantages and disadvantages also. Now, if you have any doubt, then you can unmute yourself and ask that question. If we do not have any question, then I will move further. कोई क्वेश्चन तो नहीं बेटा आप लोगों को? Anyone? चल आगे चलते हैं. Now you'll see the applications of the geothermal energy. As I told you that geothermal energy can be used in two ways. It can be used for direct heating purpose. It can be used for electricity generation also. Whenever temperature difference or temperature of the geothermal resource is not very high, say it is less than 90 degrees centigrade, then the geothermal resources are used for direct heating applications. So low and moderate temperature hydrothermal fluids can be used as direct heat source for space and water heating. For industrial processes such as drying, application in food, chemical and textile industry, crop drying, washing, warming, fish ponds in aquaculture, and for agricultural applications, the soil and space heating of glass houses. As heat cannot be distributed easily over long distances, that's why its use is suggested in the nearby areas only. In cold climates, it can be used for space heating and for water supply for public institutions, business heating, and for other purposes also. That means whenever heat associated with the geothermal resource is very low, in that case, it can be used or it is used for direct heating purpose only. On the other hand, if temperature is more than 90 degrees centigrade, it is written here that if temperature is high enough, 90 degrees centigrade, then it is used for generation of the electricity. So we can utilize geothermal resources in two ways, for direct heating and for electricity generation also. Okay. Now we move on to classification or types of geothermal energy. I told you that there are four important classification of geothermal resources. One is hydrothermal, geopressure, hot dry lake, and magma. We will discuss these resources in detail in subsequent slides. Normally we consider hydrothermal source is the water which is available at high temperature, and that can be used for either for direct heating purpose or for electricity generation. This source of energy, hydrothermal source of geothermal energy, is available when we drill on the surface from 100 meter to 3.6 kilometer only. And geopressured energy sources are the sources which are found up to a depth of 3 to 5 kilometer distance from the earth crust, and it contains brine, salt mixed with water, and it is available at very high pressure. It has one important specific advantage, that it contains some amount of methane in it. So when it is bring to the earth surface, its pressure is reduced. So methane associated with it is separated out, and that can be used for generation of the electricity. And the temperature available with the geopressure sources can also be used for energy generation. As the name indicates, all dry rock are the rocks which does not contain any amount of water in it. That means these sources are available at distance up to 5 kilometers and 5 kilometers from earth crust when we move from earth crust to the center of the earth surface. and it does not have any amount of water. That means it is completely dry, and it is having very high temperature because it receives heat from the magma from conduction. So those hot dry rock are used for energy generation also. And magma, we all know that whenever volcanic eruptions are there, magma comes out from the earth core to the earth surface, and that can also be utilized for energy generation. Out of these four, so far only hydrothermal energy source of geothermal is used for energy generation, and rest of the three sources of geothermal energy are in development stage, like geopressure, hot dry rock, and magma. These three are under development stage, and most of the work has been done on hydrothermal energy sources. And this source of energy can be utilized for direct heating purpose of energy generation also. Okay. So I told you that at present the technology for economic recovery of energy is available only for hydrothermal resources. Thus, this is the only commercially used resource at present. Other resources are going through a development phase and have not become commercial so far. Okay. Now we will discuss each of these four resources in detail. First of all, consider this figure. From this figure, we can understand the hydrothermal source. Here you can see magma, which is available at the core of the earth. From this magma, heat conducts and it is received by the rocks at some distance from the earth crust. Okay, these rocks are porous, and when these rocks become hot and comes in contact with the aquifers available underground water, then the water is heated and it gets converted into the steam. So that heated water and the steam can be utilized for energy generation or for direct heating. So from this figure, we can understand the hydrothermal resource of the geothermal energy. Okay, this is the well which is drilled by the company for getting the hot water and the steam from it. And this is the porous rock which receives heat from the magma. When cold water available underground comes in contact with this hot porous dry rock, it gets heated, and some of the water is also converted into steam also. That can be used for energy generation or for heating. Okay. So hydrothermal resources occur when underground water has access to high temperature, porous rock. Water is trapped in the underground reserves and is heated by surrounding rock. It is supplied by magma by upward conduction to solid rock below the reservoir. Thus, it forms a giant underground boiler under high pressure. The temperature can reach up to 3 degrees centigrade. So, temperature available of the water or the steam in this region is around 350 degrees centigrade. And as I told you that when temperature of this hydrothermal resource is more than 90 degrees, then it is sufficient for electricity generation. The hot water often escapes through fissures in the rock, thus forming hot springs or geysers. Sometimes steam escapes through cracks in the surface. These are the fumaroles. Okay, so geysers, springs, fumaroles are the sources for energy generation. Okay. In order to utilize the hydrothermal energy, wells are drilled either to intercept a fissure, or more commonly into the hydrothermal reservoir. The hydrothermal resources are located at shallow to moderate depths from approximately 100 meter to 4.5 kilometer. The temperature for hydrothermal reserves used for electricity generation ranges from 90 degrees centigrade to 350 degrees centigrade, where roughly two-thirds are estimated to be in the moderate temperature range of 150 to 200 degrees centigrade. So this is the maximum temperature range which is available in hydrothermal resources. And as I told you that whenever the temperature range of hydrothermal resources more than 90 degrees centigrade, then it's sufficient for electricity generation. But on an average, the temperature of the hydrothermal resources which is available at this much depth from 100 meter to 4.5 kilometer, it is from 150 degrees centigrade to 200 degrees centigrade. Okay. Next is geopressure. While drilling for oil and gas, hot salt water brine reservoirs of moderately high temperature 90 to 200 degrees centigrade are found underground and at a depth of 3 to 6 kilometers. it is having very high temperature of the order, high pressure of the order of 1000 atm. Okay, because of the very high pressure of the water up to 1350 atm atmospheric pressure to the deepest layer, these reservoirs are referred to as geopressure. So you can see the difference between hydrothermal and geopressure. In case of the hydrothermal, it is the water, a mixture of water and steam, which generates when it comes in contact with the hot porous rock. But in case of geopressure, it is the brine, that mixture of salt and water, which is having of this much temperature and of very high pressure. That's why it is referred as geopressure. Geopressured water contains a significant amount of dissolved methane gas, usually 1.9 to 3.8 meter cube per meter cube of water. That means in 1 meter cube of water, this much amount of methane is mixed in it. So solubility of methane water concentration is quite low, but it increases with pressure. तो जितने ज्यादा प्रेशर यहाँ पे होगा उतना ज्यादा मीथेन इसके साथ होगी, लेकिन जैसे हम एटमॉस्फेयर में इसको लाएंगे उसकी मीथेन इससे निकल के अलग हो जाएगी. When the water is brought to the surface and its pressure reduces, the methane gas is released from the solution. Thus, methane can be extracted from brine by simple and economical gravity technique. So, this resource of geothermal is somewhat different from hydrothermal source. It is mixture of salt and water at this much temperature, and it is found at this much depth from 3 to 6 kilometers from the Earth's surface. Okay. The third one is for dry rock. There are regions underground at temperature exceeding 200 degrees centigrade with little or no water. The rocks are impermeable and there is no surface water in the vicinity of these rocks. These resources are known as hot dry rocks. Such resources up to a depth of 5 km are estimated to be significant and worthy of development as a source of energy. Okay, so this is somewhat different than hydrothermal and geothermal. In case of hydrothermal, it is mixture of steam and water at high temperature. In case of geopressure, it is mixture of salt and water, that means brine. And in case of dry rock, it is the dry rock only, which is available at very high temperature and there is no water available in it. Suppose water mixes with such kind of rock, then it will be treated as hydrothermal only. Okay. The recovery of heat from HDR involves forming a man-made reservoir or drilling deep into the hot dry rock and then cracking it to form cavity or fracture. Such a system is known as enhanced geothermal system or engineered geothermal system. So HDR is also known as EGS. HDR means hot dry rock, is also known as engineered geothermal system. This can be achieved by detonating high explosives at bottom of the well, or by nuclear explosion, or hydraulic fracturing. Hydraulic fracturing is performed by pumping of water at high pressure into the rock formation. That means first of all we have to drill a well up to that much depth, and then we have to supply high pressure water into it, and then we can obtain it. It is commonly used in oil and gas fields to improve flow. So this is the third resource of the geothermal energy, which is known as hot dry rock. Fourth one is magma. At some places, molten or partially molten rock known as magma at temperature of 650 to 1200 degrees centigrade occur at depth of 5 to 10 kilometers. So you can see that this is available from 5 to 10 kilometer distance only. When we dig a well of this much depth, then only we can access to magma. One important thing is that it is having large amount of heat associated with it because it is having high temperature. Though it is having high temperature, we cannot have some difficulty in accessing the magma and utilizing their source. That's why it is in the development phase. These resources are located especially in the vicinity of recent volcanic activity, as in the case of Hawaii Island. The very high temperature and large volume make magma a huge potential energy source, the largest of all geothermal resources. However, magma drilling technology had not yet been established successfully. Okay. Extracting magma energy expected to be the most difficult task for this utilization, this source utilization. Magma technology will require special drilling technology to deal with the interaction of the drill bit with molten rock, the effects of dissolved gases, and mechanism of heat transport in molten magma. This technology has not yet been developed. Okay, so in these slides we have discussed four forms of geothermal energy: hydrothermal, geopressure, hot dry rock, and magma. And now I'm going to show you one video which is available here. You can have access to it.
Power plants. Unlike other power plants that rely on coal or other fossil fuels to create electricity for homes and businesses, geothermal power plants use superheated fluids from the Earth's geothermal resources to generate electricity. The natural heat of the Earth creates geothermal resources. This heat comes from molten rock called magma, located at the Earth's core, deep below the geothermal resource. Over thousands of years, rainwater seeps through cracks in the Earth's surface and collects in underground reservoirs. The magma heats the water until it becomes a superheated fluid. To reach the superheated fluid, wells are drilled 5,000 to 10,000 feet below the surface of the Earth. These wells, called production wells, bring the superheated fluid to the Earth's surface, where it can be used to generate electricity for homes and businesses. This geothermal power plant uses crystallizer reactor clarifier technology, a process that turns the geothermal superheated fluid into steam while removing solids from it. The steam is used to drive a turbine and generate electricity. All remaining geothermal fluids are injected back into the reservoir for reuse. Under its own pressure, superheated fluid from the geothermal resource flows naturally to the surface through production wells. As the liquid flows toward the surface, the pressure decreases, causing a small portion of the fluid still within the well to separate or flash into steam. At the surface, the superheated fluid and steam mixture flows through surface pipelines and into a wellhead separator. Inside the separator, the pressure of the superheated fluid is reduced. This causes a large amount of the superheated fluid to rapidly vaporize and flash into high-pressure steam. The geothermal fluid that is not flashed into steam in the wellhead separator flows to a second vessel called a standard pressure crystallizer, where an additional amount of standard pressure steam is produced. The flash process continues in the low-pressure crystallizer. The remaining fluid is again flashed, this time at a lower pressure to produce low-pressure steam. All of the low-pressure, standard pressure, and high-pressure steam is delivered to a turbine. The fluid that is not flashed into steam flows into the reactor clarifier system and is then returned to the geothermal reservoir through injection wells. Turbines are the primary piece of equipment used to transform geothermal energy into mechanical energy. Pressurized steam created from the geothermal superheated fluid flows through pipelines to large steam turbines. The force and energy in the steam is used to spin the turbine blades. The turbines turn a shaft directly connected to an electrical generator. An electrical charge is created when magnets rotate within the generator. Large copper bars carry the electrical charge to a step-up transformer outside the plant. Within the transformer, the voltage is increased before the power is sent to the power lines that carry it to homes and businesses. Geothermal energy is a sustainable resource because with proper management, a geothermal resource can remain a renewable source of energy. Water trapped deep within the earth will naturally replace the superheated fluid that is drawn from the geothermal resource through surface wells. However, it is possible to deplete the geothermal resource by removing fluid faster then it can be naturally replaced. To help prevent this, the steam used in the geothermal power plant passes through a condenser that turns it back into fluid. At this stage, it's possible to recover minerals from the geothermal fluid before it's injected back into the earth. This condensed fluid, along with the fluid that did not flash to steam, is injected back into the underground reservoir. Magma naturally reheats the fluid so it can be used again.
Okay. So from my side, today lecture is over.
Thanks to the McGill Energy Association for inviting me to.
Now, if you have any question, then you can unmute and ask the question. आप लोगों को कुछ समझ में नहीं आया तो अनम्यूट करके आप यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन पूछ सकते हैं। कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है?